There are two kinds of men who end up alone. One walked away because he was finally whole. The other ran because being reachable started to hurt. You know which one you are. You hid it so well you almost believed the first. Solitude didn't make you untouchable. It made you unreachable. Those were never the same thing. Look at your phone, the messages you left sitting there. Not because you were busy, because answering means you're reachable, and reachable means it can hurt again. There was a friendship you let die. You didn't fight for it. You watched it fade and told yourself people just drift apart. There was an invitation you turned down and felt something close to pride. You called it protecting your peace. And somewhere along the way, you started to prefer people the way they live in your head. Quieter, predictable, safe. You weren't always like this. Something taught you that closeness has a cost, so you stopped paying it. And here is the strange part. It worked. The peace is real. That is exactly why you cannot see the trap. Watch how you did it. Every retreat got a better name. The silence became, I value my peace. The walls became, I have standards. The people you cut became dead weight. Needing no one became self-sufficiency. One by one, you took the symptoms of hiding and promoted them to virtues. And the worst part is, none of it is entirely a lie. Peace has value. Standards protect you. Some people should be cut. That is what makes the trap so clean. It is built out of half-truths you can defend. But here is the cost you didn't price in. The circle got smaller, and you called it refinement. You got better at being alone, and worse at being alive. The muscle you use to let someone in works like any other muscle. Stop using it, and it wastes. One day you reach for it, and it isn't there. So you started finding reasons. Someone gets close, and suddenly you notice the flaw. The thing they said, the way they chew, the text they sent too late. You tell yourself you have high discernment. But a flaw is just the door you were already looking for. It was never about them. Closeness itself became the threat, and the fortress did its job. It kept the pain out. But pain was never the only thing standing at the gate. Outside that wall was also the chance of being known, of being needed, of being changed by someone who saw you and stayed anyway. You sealed all of it out together because you couldn't separate the danger from the life. You think you are protected. You're not protected. You're preserved, like something in a jar, intact, untouched, and slowly, quietly, going still. And here is where it gets worse. The fortress was supposed to be a place you go. At some point, it stopped being a place at all. The walls moved inward. The guard never came down. You don't visit it anymore. You became it. And you forgot there was ever a door. You still believe it, don't you? That the wall is proof of something. That it took strength to become this self-contained. And here is the part most people get wrong. So listen, it did take strength. Building this took real discipline. That was never the lie. But strength to build a thing does not make the thing worth building. A man can be enormously strong and still be laying every brick of his own cage. Your strength was never in question. What you built it for is. So look at what you built. A fortress, impenetrable, exactly as designed. Nothing gets in. Now walk inside it. There is no one there, no one you let live, no conversation that costs you anything, no one close enough to wound you, which means no one close enough to reach you, not even you, fully. You moved out a long time ago and left the guard standing. This is the hollow fortress. The two things you were proudest of, that the walls are high and nothing gets in, are the exact two things that emptied it. A fortress with no one alive inside is just a cell. That is the wound. And here is the cruelest part. You think you are the warrior on the wall, holding the line against a world that hurts. You're not the warrior in the fortress. You're the siege. The thing starving inside these walls isn't under attack from out there. It is starving because you cut the supply. You are the army that surrounded your own life and called it safety. Now here is what should sting, because a better man already faced this and chose differently. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, the most powerful man alive, surrounded by people who would smile at him and plot his death by morning. If anyone earned the right to wall the world out, it was him. He built a fortress too, but his was on the inside. He called it the inner citadel, a place he could withdraw into that made him stronger out here, not a wall that kept the world out there. He wrote it down at night, for no one but himself, what we now call his meditations. Not instructions for leaving the arena, instructions for staying in it without losing himself. That is the difference. His fortress let him stay. Yours made you leave. And it is not too late to learn which one you have been building. Now hear me clearly, because this is where men overcorrect. The answer is not to tear the walls down. You built them for a reason. Some of what they keep out should stay out. The fortress was never the problem. The problem is that no one is alive inside it, because there are two kinds of solitude, and they look exactly the same from the outside. One comes from being whole, a man at peace on his own, who could open the door any time and simply prefers the quiet. That man is free. The other comes from fear. The door is welded shut, and he calls the weld a choice. From the outside, they look identical. Only one of them can still be reached. The work was never to become less alone. It is to make sure your alone is the first kind, and not the second. So you do not need a crowd. You were never going to be that man, and you do not have to be. You need one door. One person you stop auditing for the flaw. One person you let see the version of you that you have not rehearsed. It will feel like weakness. It is not. Being reachable is the only proof that someone is still alive in there. And that exhaustion you have been carrying, the low hum underneath everything, the tiredness that sleep never seems to touch, that is not discipline. That is the cost of guarding a wall around an empty room every hour for years. You can put the watch down. Not the whole fortress, just the watch, just for one person, to start. Because the moment one real person is standing inside, it stops being a cell. It becomes a home with a door. Same walls, completely different building. So here is the one thing I will ask of you. Not because it is comfortable, because it is the exact thing the fortress was built to prevent. This week, choose one person, not a crowd. One. And be the one who moves first. Send the message you left unanswered. Say the true thing you would normally armor over. Let them see the version of you that has no script. It will feel like exposure. That feeling is not a warning. It is the muscle waking up. The fortress will call this weakness. The fortress has been lying to you for years. You do not owe it one more day of guard duty. And if this named something you had been calling strength, then understand there are other walls. The discipline that is really avoidance, the control that is really fear, the silence you mistook for depth. This channel is the same scalpel, turned on each one at a time. Stay here, if you would rather see your armor than wear it. Solitude was never your enemy. The lie that yours was strength. That was the enemy. You built this place. Every wall, every welded door, every name you gave the hiding. That used to sound like a verdict. Hear it as the way out. Because the one who built it is the only one who can open it. The fortress can stay a tomb, or it can become a home with a door, You built it. So you already know who decides.